All right, everyone. Hello and welcome back to DSP Reacts and to DSP versus the Internet for Saturday, the 11th of April, 2023. Today, we are enjoying a good variety of stuff, I would say. And the good thing is we haven't really done too much of anything, which is great. We actually just enjoyed a speedrun video, the likes of which I had never seen. We're heading to the second half of the show. The first thing we're going to do is there was a super member, someone who was the middle level membership here on the channel, who asked some questions. There is a little bit of Q&A that we do on this show. So we're going to do a little bit of a lightning round Q&A and then head right into more videos. Okay? So, have I ever been a fan of synth pop music? No. I'm not even aware of synth pop music. So I don't even know how that would work. But the answer is no, I'm not a fan. Do you prefer Chinese or Vietnamese food? Honestly, I probably prefer Chinese food, although it's funny because most Chinese food I've had is probably more Americanized Chinese food. It's probably not authentic Chinese food. But I probably have eaten way more Chinese than Vietnamese. Not to say I don't like Vietnamese, but yeah, I've definitely had Chinese more and liked it more. Do you usually read the newspaper? No. I have not read the newspaper in a long-ass time, probably decades. Do you still get your political news from Twitter? I get a lot of news from Twitter, quite frankly, but I'm finding more and more that Twitter is becoming a worse source. It used to be a really good source, and now I feel like Twitter has kind of been ruined by the changes. Whatever these changes are that have been made to Twitter, with the algorithm or whatever, it's very hard to find reliable information. A lot of the time, it's just a bunch of shitposting stuff on there, which is a waste of time. I'd rather look at news stories and things, I follow. I'm trying to find gaming news stories and stuff. Like, where are they? Why is half my feed a bunch of stuff I'm not interested in, never did anything with? You know what I mean? So, that's very annoying and very stupid. But sadly, it's something that I deal with. So, maybe Twitter will get better or worse over time. But yeah, I do still use it a good amount. And then, do you enjoy HBO Max or Netflix more? Well, when I had Netflix, all right, when I started using Netflix for the first time, basically, I hadn't watched any of this stuff on there, and there were all these shows on there that were interesting to me because it was stuff like Stranger Things and stuff like that, okay, that I'd never really done. And so basically, it was fun because I was watching a whole bunch of new stuff. I remember I watched The Haunting of Hill House and stuff like that. Every once in a while, there was like a movie on there or whatever that I watched. But over time, what ended up happening was I feel like I exhausted the stuff on Netflix that I kind of really liked. And the new stuff that they're coming out with, there's so much of it that it's hard to even find a show on there. Every once in a while, you get a show that's really hyped, right? Like if I had Netflix today, what was it a couple years ago? The one that everyone talked about, Squid Game or whatever. You know what I mean? Like sometimes, Netflix has a super popular show that everyone talks about and watches. But for the most part, Netflix is so inundated with so much content that it's hard for any of it to stand out. And you don't really know what's good or what's not. Even word of mouth, it's hard. Like a lot, you don't hear like a ton of people always talking about a show on Netflix. Sometimes entire shows come out, are aired there for a year, and then they're gone. You're like, what happened? Oh, the show existed? I didn't even know it ever existed, right? That's probably kind of the problem with Netflix. It's kind of oversaturation, so much content, it's hard to discern between it or find out what's good. So I had Netflix maybe 2-3 years, and I watched several seasons of Stranger Things and some shit. And after that, I just stopped watching it entirely. Like I wasn't really interested in it anymore. I kind of felt like it wasn't really something people talked about. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny because then I got rid of it, and then Squid Game came out, and other shows came out that people did talk about. Like what was it, The Witcher's on there? So I never got to see any of those shows. But then I got HBO Max a couple months ago, and I would say that there's a lot of stuff on there I enjoy. So a lot of the movie selections are great. I'd say it has some of the best movie selection. And HBO original shows also have been very fun and quite good over the years. So in that regard also, yeah, I watch the different television shows and things. I'm watching Curb Your Enthusiasm, which is really good. Among other things, I'm going to be reviewing some stuff this week that I watched. So currently, I think I do like HBO Max more than I liked Netflix. But that doesn't mean that won't change. Maybe it'll be that I get tired of the content on HBO Max, It's really about quality over quantity. Netflix has a lot of shit, but is it all stuff you want to watch that's good? Or is it just a lot of shit? And I feel like, yeah, that's kind of what it is. It's just a lot of stuff, okay? So there you go. All right. Thank you, Guitar Player, for that super chat. I'll read that out soon. But in the meantime, let us continue. Let's get back into the videos, guys. Okay, here we go. So what's next?
So it goes without saying, all of us have found a pubic hair in our McChicken before, right? Am I the only one? But no, seriously, finding stuff in fast food has become sort of a meme in a way. Like, you have these news articles coming up that show people finding, you know, dead rats in their KFC fried chicken. It's kind of ridiculous how much stuff slips through the cracks.
The rat and the chicken.
But in today's video, we're not doing a whatever happened to episode.
Look at this wallpaper this guy has. He has a lava lamp, a salt rock lamp, and a freaking crazy psychedelic background. This guy's got the most interesting filming setup for this. This is the Wendy's chili finger story from 4 years ago. Can we skip to the story? Here we go.
Chili, she paid for her meal and went to go sit down in the dining area at one of the booths.
Okay.
She began to crush up her saltine crackers, sprinkle them on the chili, and mix it in, which, if you weren't aware, is the premier way of eating chili. So she mixes up her concoction and begins to dip her spoon in to take the first bite of the chili. She takes a bite.
It's pretty good.
She takes a second bite. Pretty damn good chili. But on the third bite, she feels something that could only be described as a hard, crunchy texture.
Ooh.
And as soon as she feels this crunchy texture, she spits the chili out onto the table. And after spitting this object out on the table, she looks at it and is met with complete horror at this object that she's just expelled from her mouth.
That looks good.
That crunch was the fingernail of a decapitated finger, which has somehow...
Decapitated? That doesn't make sense. Decapitate means take off your head.
how lodged itself in this bowl of chili. After this discovery, she begins screaming and completely freaking out, telling all the patrons in the restaurant to stop eating their food. This place has contaminated products. She just found a human finger inside of her bowl of chili.
That's disgusting.
She took the finger to the front desk and demanded an explanation from the employees of Wendy's. The employees of Wendy's were looking at this finger saying, this is just a vegetable or something. There's no way it could be a finger. And this goes without saying, police were definitely called to the scene. The restaurant would be shut down for the remainder of the day, and police and investigators were sort of scratching their heads trying to figure out where the hell this finger came from. So the following day, the county health officials did verify that this was in fact a finger and in no way was some sort of vegetable.
So it was real.
And this story began picking up and got national coverage. You had people nationwide completely terrified of the idea of eating at a Wendy's.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Because who knows what's going to show up in your chilies. I mean, are you going to get a toe or like a damn earlobe or something? No one was eating at Wendy's.
Now we turn to the story everybody is talking about, the finger in the Wendy's chili, and left people with a lot of questions. The case is now like something out of a CSI. Investigators are conducting DNA tests, hoping to find the owner of the severed finger. Officials at Wendy's say they've checked all of their chili suppliers and none have reported an injury of this kind.
Well, Robin, if this came from a processing plant, then somebody was horribly injured. But more than that, there was a terrible process control failure.
This discovery.
Yeah, see, here's the thing about this that makes me wonder what's going on. Like, I could see if there ever was going to be meat, okay? If there ever was going to be meat in something like this, I feel like it would not be discernible. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say for real, there was a chunk of human flesh somewhere in chili. How would you know? It's going to be cooked. It's going to be in there. You're not going to know what it is. The fact that this is a thumb and it has the nail attached and the knuckle intact, right, doesn't seem to make sense because it has to go through so many levels to get to the store. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure there's the wherever they first make the chili, then at the store they add the meat. I know for a fact what happens is the burger meat that breaks off when they're cooking, they add that to the chili. So, like, who could possibly be missing a thumb and it wasn't reported? Who would lose a thumb at the factory making the chili and not tell anyone, I lost my thumb in the chili, I want a workers' comp claim, or get a medic over here, my thumb came off? Who at a Wendy's store, who would lose their thumb in the chili? It doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would be a pretty gruesome injury to lose your whole thumb. That's what I mean. Like, even if it were real, let's say someone really did lose their thumb, do you think it would be an intact knuckle and thumb like this in the chili? No, it would be like so breaking apart, you'd never even know what it was, and you'd never notice it. You know what I mean? So That's just kind of, it doesn't really make much sense. I get the feeling this is probably a hoax, right? Some bullshit.
Chili.
Well, as I was eating my chili.
So that's the woman.
I usually crack all my crackers and just put them in there, mix it all around, and
Anna
started
Ayala.
eating and eating the way usually people eat. And suddenly I chew something that's
Good
kinda
morning,
hard,
America.
crunchy, spit it out. At first I wasn't sure what it was.
Ugh.
And as we started investigating, poking it, other people too, that's when we find that there's something that looks like a nail.
So most people naturally were pointing their fingers at Wendy's. They had to be the ones responsible for this. I mean, how else would the finger get in the chili? But Wendy's published its own self-audit, which showed that no employees in the Wendy's restaurant had had any sort of hand or finger injury. And in fact, none of the factories that were responsible for producing the Wendy's chili products, well, none of them had had any injuries either. So at this point, either Wendy's was lying or someone else was to blame for this finger.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I remember being 12 years old at the time this story broke. My parents both were avid Wendy's customers. Like, they really enjoyed going to Wendy's to get Frosties. And because of this news story breaking, I remember
stopped.
we didn't go to Wendy's for like damn near a year.
Yeah.
I guess a finger is enough to just keep us away for a year, but still, Wendy's was taking heat from this,
Right.
and they
That's
couldn't
gonna hurt your
explain how the
reputation.
hell it got in there. And police were having a lot of
Oh
trouble
my god, that's
tracking
freaking
down
what's his
any
name?
possible.
That's iDubbbz, right? Content cop. All right, let's fast forward. Let's fast forward and see what happens here. Let's go to here.
Loco. She was able to actually win a settlement against them whenever she claimed her daughter became sick after eating at the
Oh
restaurant.
no,
So
he's saying she has a history of litigation against restaurants. Oh shit.
this was a red flag for police and investigators because this was suggesting that perhaps somehow Anna had a finger that she put in her own chili.
Oh my God.
This revelation in mind, police quickly got a search warrant for her house and went in looking
They went-
for
there's just
any
live
type
footage of them
evidence that
robbing
could
their-
implicate her in the crime.
Yes,
of
they
the
searched the
planning
house. There it
of
is.
the Wendy's chili finger.
Perfect.
And after searching her house, police didn't make any statement onto what they had found in there, but on April 21st of 2005, seemingly out of the blue,
2005, so this was the mid-2000s. I didn't hear about this when it happened.
Anna Ayala was arrested,
Well, there you go.
taken into custody for felony grand larceny and grand theft. The grand theft charges were actually old and related to a case where she sold her boyfriend's trailer when it wasn't actually hers to sell. And the grand larceny charges, well, there had been some evidence that surfaced that pretty much proved she was the one who planted the chili finger. And this evidence came by way of a tip line that Wendy's had set up. See, Wendy's had no idea where this finger came from, and they opened a tip line basically offering a $10,000 reward if anyone
Smart.
could give them any information
Very
as
smart.
to where
If you
the
can't clear
chili
your own
finger
rep, have
came
someone else
from.
help you.
An anonymous person called the tip line and claimed the finger belonged to a friend of Anna Ayala's husband. This friend named Brian Paul Rossiter. He had lost his finger back in 2004 during an industrial accident and had sold the finger to Anna Ayala, well, to pay off some sort of debt that he
What
owed
the
her.
fuck?
Now, this is obviously a red flag. I mean, why would somebody buy a finger if they weren't planning on using it in the future for some sort of heinous fraud? With all this evidence compiled, Anna and her husband were both charged.
Wow.
Anna sentenced to 9 years and her husband sentenced to 12 years respectively
Wow.
for the conspiracy. Anna
9 and 12 years conspiracy for putting a thumb in Wendy's chili because you're a fucking idiot. What? Imagine being someone who is so obsessed with getting false, like, lawsuits. Like they said, she had frivolously gotten El Pollo Loco to pay her settlement, saying that her kid kept getting sick eating their food, and she kept winning. And imagine, well, I won that, so now I'm gonna keep escalating, right? I'm gonna buy someone's ripped off thumb and put it into the fucking chili, right? And then try to make a false claim and try to make big money on it or something. Like, what on earth, man? I never heard this story before. I guess everyone's heard about a thumb in your chili, but I didn't know where the story came from. That was fascinatingly stupid, basically. All right, let's keep going.
What's up, you guys? It's Graham here. So I'm sure at some point you've been scrolling YouTube, you come across your favorite creator.
So by the way, Derek says she spent 9 years in prison. January 18, 2006 to 2013, she received another prison sentence for an unrelated incident. She filed a false police report and felony firearm possession. So she's basically one of those people, she's never going to be out of trouble her whole life. She's going to be in jail forever. Great.
And then you start to think to yourself, how much money are they making? No? Just me? Alrighty then, I'll end the video right here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Alright, for real, I think it's crossed everyone's minds when they see their favorite YouTuber change Lamborghinis as often as they do underwear, or buy a $45,000 Rolex as a spur-of-the-moment gift, because why not? And to make things even more confusing, how much some of these big YouTubers make is largely a complete mystery shielded from the public until now. See, I noticed something interesting. If you want to try to figure out how much a YouTube channel makes, you really only have a few options. You could try socialblade.com, which estimates earnings based on the number of views a channel receives, or you could just go on YouTube and search how much do YouTubers make, but there's a problem. It seems as though the more subscribers a channel has, the less likely they are to tell you how much money they make.
By the way, so Lanuli says 652 will answer the question. If you skip to 652, how much I make with 3 million subscribers. This guy, at this time, he had 3 million subs, I guess, is what you're saying. Interesting. Okay. So anyway, to give you my perspective, Social Blade's never been correct. All Social Blade does, it estimates ad revenue based on views. That's it. And it's wrong, because ad revenue fluctuates greatly. People make different amounts on ad revenue. Some channels get better ads than others. Like, it's never been right. Even when I was at the height of my popularity and I went to Social Blade, for the most part, those high-end numbers are like gratuitously high compared to what you're actually making ad revenue on your channel. The low-end numbers usually were gratuitously low. Usually it was somewhere in the middle and not even close to being, you know, there. So there's no way from those ranges that you can actually tell anything. The other thing you got to factor in, especially today, now this video is 2 years ago, most YouTubers are not making all their money off of ad revenue anymore. You've got paid memberships. You've got ad placements for like paid product placements, right? You know, sponsorships, that kind of deal. People are getting paid behind the scenes contracts to do special kind of content. Sometimes you make a video, paid promotion, I got paid to make this video, right? So that's a lot of money for most YouTubers. For me, it's not. I make none of that. Like, literally the only income I have is ad revenue, memberships, super chats, tips. That's it. And of course I have a Patreon as well. That's it. But these guys, a lot of these big time YouTubers who have giant followings, have all these sources of income going on behind the scenes. So I'm curious how he's going to figure it out. Now you're saying skip to 652. See, how much do sponsors pay? All right, let's go here. Let's see what happens.
In the 1 to 5 million subscriber range, this should be fairly accurate depending on their audience. But before we go further down the rabbit hole of YouTube income, let's take a step back and talk about YouTube ad revenue, because that's probably the topic you're most curious about, and you just want to know how much money I make with the channel of 3 million subscribers.
Okay.
Now, just for reference, when I first started making YouTube videos, the early days didn't pay anywhere near how much I'm making today. Back in early 2017, I was posting about 2 to 3.
Yeah, 2017 was the adpocalypse. He's absolutely right. 2017 was the lowest point for ad revenue.
3 videos a week, and that earned me about 10 to 50 cents a day. But after 3 months of posting consistently, I started building up a small audience and getting more views. And the amount I was earning began increasing to about $10 to $20 a day. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, one of my videos got magically blessed by the almighty YouTube algorithm, and in a single day, I made $171 in ad revenue. I remember that day in such vivid detail because I was blown away that I could literally make videos for fun about topics I enjoyed talking about and somehow make money doing that. So of course I continued, and during my first full year of posting videos in 2017, I earned
What's hilarious is the guy was obviously already rich. Look where he lives, right? He lives in this mansion-like house. He's got all this shit already, so he already was set up. I mean, I don't know if that's his house or his parents' house or whatever, right? But it's obvious he already had a bunch of shit in order to make these kind of videos, so.
$26,966.69. Then throughout 2018, I started taking YouTube a lot more seriously. I began spending more of my time on editing. I was getting more comfortable in front of the camera. I built out my garage as a studio to make more visually appealing videos from. I also continued my same schedule of posting every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday no matter what. And as my audience grew, so did the views, and that translated into a higher income. And throughout the entire year of 2018, the channel made $170,940.
My YouTube channel has never made $170,945. Not even fucking close. Like, not even close. like, holy crap. Holy freaking crap. That's only his second year he had a YouTube channel he made that much money. So, here's the thing. If you watch a video like this, listen, I'm not saying anything negative about this guy or his content. I don't even know what he does, okay? But you cannot take this story as a case that is something that you want to do. Like, this is the monster exception to the rule. What happened to this guy? Likely what happened was this guy had so much shit to make videos on because he's rich. He already had a giant garage with a bunch of high-end shit. You know what I'm saying? He probably made car videos. He probably did all these videos about things that he was privileged enough to be able to do, in which case he made money on it. You see what I'm saying? The Joe average person is not going to be able to make that kind of content that people would be interested in, and you're not going to be able to blow up like this guy did, you know? So please don't take this as an example of a success story that can be replicated by you if you work hard. I just wanted you to understand, this guy is blessed. He already had a nice life before he became a YouTuber, and then as a YouTuber, the algorithm blesses him, and he never left. This is a success story based on luck. And yeah, I'm not saying there's no hard work and the content wasn't interesting. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you have to understand this is the exception to the rule. For every Graham Stefan or whatever, there's probably 4,000 people who tried to do exactly what he did and failed, you know, for various different reasons. So understand that. You have to really like hit the lottery for this to be successful. And I hope that he's not trying to portray this as, oh, if you do this, it'll happen too, right?
$45.60. But 2019 is really the year that changed everything. The channel had grown at that point to about 700,000 subscribers, and I saw that as an opportunity to diversify into new topics and to meet with different creators to showcase their accomplishments. That year, I met with Ben Mallet, who shared how he was able to get $250 million worth of real estate. I detailed my experience buying a Tesla Model 3. I got sued by Apple. Okay, not really, that was just an April Fool's joke, but I was able to start my second channel, The Graham Stephan Show, to answer subscriber questions and review the spending habits of millennials. From doing that, throughout 2019, the main channel earned $1,141,230.
And again, why? Why was he able to do this? Because he was already rich. He already had the means to do the content that was interesting to watch because someone's rich and they're sharing that life with you. Boom. Within 3 years, he's making $1 million on his YouTube channel, right? Of course, I think we're all jealous, right? If only we all had that. If only we all had the means to do that. And again, I'm not hating on the guy. This guy seems charismatic, seems like a good public speaker, and I would assume his content's probably quite good. This is actually an informative, entertaining video. But I'm just saying, again, this is the exception to the rule. If you had that, if you're going... When I started on YouTube, to give you guys some perspective, literally, there was no one like this guy, okay? The people who were on YouTube were people who had passion and talent and wanted to share that with the world, but didn't have the means. This guy's already rich. If he wanted to, he could probably do professional level shows and finance them. You know what I'm saying? Like, he already has this. But YouTube was supposed to be the means by which, if you don't have that means, you can now share that talent and that passion with the world, and hopefully this is your tube, your TV. People watch your channel, fall in love with you, and now you can actually get noticed for it. Even back then, it wasn't like make a living doing it. It was just get noticed for it, get some notoriety. Remember kids like Justin Bieber? He didn't make a living on YouTube. He got noticed on YouTube and then became a musician based on that. You see what I'm saying? But now it's like, it almost seems to me, I hate to say it, that you need to go into it being rich or having the backing to do it to be successful. No one can just go into YouTube with nothing anymore and really make it. Or if you are the exception. You're the lucky person. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure there's a lot of people we watch do these skits and stuff that don't have anything, and they make these skits. The skits are funny, and then they get viral popularity, and good on them. That's excellent. Some of the skits we watch on this show every week is kind of the exact definition of viral talent that what YouTube was designed to do many years ago. But for every one or two of those, there's someone like him. And again, there's nothing wrong with him, but I'm just saying, this is not what YouTube started as. This was not the intention of what it was supposed to be. Oh, if you're already rich, now become richer, because people want to see what the lifestyles of rich and famous are like. And, you know, people are saying this guy, he was a finance and a real estate YouTuber. So there you go. Already rich, already into it, can then make content on it and becomes even more rich and popular doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's pretty crazy. But good for him. I'm not hating on this guy whatsoever. Good for him and his success. Certainly someone like me, nothing like this was ever possible. You know, I came in at a time when the gaming and the commentary thing was non-existent. I came in at a time when doing the kind of improv commentary blew up. I got lucky. And then you guys have seen my history and what happened with me. I mean, we went over it down the rabbit hole and everything last year. So, you know, now I'm lucky to still be able to make a living doing what I do. You know what I mean? Like, I'm happy that I can still do this and even make a living doing it. But I'll never blow up like this guy, no matter how much I hard work or whatever. If I was filthy rich and I was able to throw money at a wall, I'd probably be able to make viral videos overnight. But I don't have that, you know. What can you do? Anyway, that was a fascinating video. So within 3 years of this guy being a YouTuber, he's making $1 million on his channel. That's just insane. I mean, that's absolutely nuts. Okay. Well, I think this is a good time to split the video. We still got about an hour left, everyone. Thank you for watching DSP versus the Internet. Speaking of which, if you want to support this channel because I'm not a giant billionaire, you can do many things, like liking the videos, leaving comments, becoming a channel member. And thank you to those who are watching the show and enjoying. We got about an hour left this week's show, so thanks a lot, and I'll be right back.